What's up, automation engineers? So in this video we're going to talk about breaking loops in Cypress. This is the part 2 of the previous video where I'm going through loops in Cypress. Now if you haven't watched that video, I really recommend watching that video because this video is going to be hard to follow if not. Okay, let's start with creating an array. Let me copy this and let's create a new tab. You can see the output. I'm creating an array of size 20 and I'm getting all the keys. This is going to be written and an iterable, and I'm destructuring that and putting it into an array. So we got 0 to 19, 20 elements, and I'm using here the every function. This is a function of arrays. I can pass an anonymous function. It's going to call that 20 times because we got 20 elements in the array, and it's going to pass the the element, but in this case element is the index because we got 0 to 19. Okay, in the function I got return false if the index is greater than or equal to 10. If I return false into the anonymous function, it's going to stop the loop. Now if I am returning true, it's going to continue to the next element if there is one. So it's really simple. Loop is going to break at number 9 because we are returning false after that. So let's go to the output. We got 0 to 9 output into the console. Cool. So that's the basic way of breaking a loop. Actually, there is one more thing. It's really important that you are returning whatever the value directly into the anonymous function, otherwise it will not work. If you created another function inside this one and if you return that, it's not going to break the original anonymous function. Basic stuff. Okay, now I'm doing pretty much the same thing, but this time I'm using Cypress. Now first I'm wrapping the array, and I'm using each command in Cypress. Like we did before, I'm passing an anonymous function, and if the index is greater than or equal to 10, I'm going to return false. That's going to break the loop. This time we don't have to return true because that's how each command works in Cypress. We don't really have to return true to continue to the next element. It will do that automatically unless we are returning false. In that case, the loop will break. Now save that. The output is 0 to 9. Cool. So that's another way of doing that. And again, it's really important that you are returning the value directly into the anonymous function. We will see an example where we cannot directly return something into the anonymous function, and we will see how to handle that. Now understanding this one is really important because we are going to work with recursives. Okay, now I got a function called count. It's going to take an index. I'm going to console log that out, and I'm adding 1 to that index after printing that out. Now if the index is less than 10, I'm going to call myself, call the same function, but this time index is going to be the previous index plus 1 because we have added a 1 to that index, right? Simple stuff. Now I'm calling that count method in the test case. So I'm passing 0. It's going to start from here. It's going to console log out 0. It's going to plus, that means 1. Now index is less than 10 because it's 1. It's less than 10. So because of that, it's going to call itself. Now again, it will go to this location. Right now it's going to print 1. It will add 1. Now it's 2. So this thing goes on until the number is 10. Now the index is not less than 0. It will not call itself. so everything will be resolved. It will print 0 to 9. Simple. Okay, now I'm going to take a real world example and let's try to automate that. Now the application is going to be this one. I'm going to go through this pagination and I'm going to find a given user within this pagination by navigating to each and every page in this pagination. Okay, now let's get started. I'll create the basic structure. Now let's create a method, find person, and I'm going to take a name, and I'm going to create another function. Let's call this what do you call this? Find in index. Let's call it page. Then actually I can move this to the function, find person function, because we can create function inside functions in JavaScript. Okay, now I'm going to take index into this function and let's call it find in page, and let's pass 0 into the function like we did earlier, right here. So this is going to be our basic structure. Before that, let's call cyvisit and go to the page. After that, let's call find person and let's get a name from like page 3, something like this, and paste it here. Okay, we got all that. Now all we have to do the implementation. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to capture these 6 elements, because we have to click on each and every element if you want to find the person's name in a particular page. Okay, now inspect. This is ULLI. Now we can capture these 6 elements. Actually there are 8, including previous and next. We got 8 elements, but I don't want previous and next, so let's find a way to get rid of those. So in this previous page I got a class called previous, so all I have to do is call not and pass the class. That will get rid of that. Now we got 7 elements. The same way, let's get rid of the next button, not next. Okay, now we got 6 elements, 1 to 6. Cool. Let's copy that and see why get paste the value. I'm going to store this. I'll tell you why. Pages. Now let's go back to the application. Now I'm going to click on this button 1 and inspect. Look at the DOM. You will see when I click on 2, it's going to be refreshed, right? div1 ul going to be refreshed. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to store this ul as a global variable. Now if I go to the console, you can see it created a temporary variable. Now let's print that again. You can right click on this one and click on reveal in elements panel. It will move you to the elements tab and it will show the particular element highlighted on the tab. But if I click on this button 2, you can see the DOM got refreshed or re-rendered. In that case, the one we stored previously is not the same right now. Now if I do reveal in elements panel, you can see node cannot be found in the current page. We got a warning. So due to that reason, I cannot click on these 6 elements using the same let's say list of elements. So if I do something like let's do each, and I'm going to get the EL. If I do click on EL, or I can wrap this and click on that. If I do this, it's going to click on the first element, but it is not going to click on the second element because that's DOM is being changed and we cannot use existing element object. So that's why I'm storing that. When I store that, it's going to requeue if that element is not found in the DOM right now. So that's why I'm doing pages. Cool. Now let's see. I want to look through this one, look through all the elements and click on them. So let's do CY get, and let's access pages. Let's get its length, and actually I'm going to create a then command, and I'm going to return an array of size len. Right now it's 6 because we got 6 pages, and let's get all the keys and destructure this one. So we got an array of size 6 because we got 6 pages, and I'm going to pass it to each command. Let's call this index like we did before, right here. And let's do CY get and pages EQ. This is going to take one element from the 6 elements. We are going to get the current index and click on this one. Something is wrong. Okay, now let's see the execution. And the execution is finished. We should be in the 6th page if everything went correctly, hopefully. Okay, the execution is done. Now let's check the page. Yep, right now we are in 6th page. Cool. Now before navigating to the before clicking on the next page, all we have to do is get all the names here, right? Let's read the table. Let's get rid of these cookies. Okay, now here we got a table and we got an ID to capture that. In the T body we got all we want, names and stuff, position, office and stuff. Okay, now all we have to do is we have to access TDs of this table and get all the names. So let's do that. Start with the ID of the table, and let's go to T body tr td. Now it's going to select all TDs, right? Now if I hit enter, you can see it's going to select the second one as well, but I don't need that. I just want the first one. So let's do nth child nth child, and let's get the first one only. Now we got 10 rows in the table, this table, and we got 10 elements selected using this selector. So all good. Now let's do CY get and paste the selector. Now it's going to capture 6 elements. I'm going to go through all the elements. Let's call this TD, and here let's get the name. So let's call this emp name or something. TD get text. Okay, text is the inner text, and now we can check if name is equal to emp name. If that's the case, we can return false like we did previously. It's going to break the loop. In the meantime, let's console log out the emp name. Okay, now wait for the execution. Okay, it printed everything we need. Now if you check the pagination, you can see right now we are in the 6th page, but I think we captured the name from, where did we capture that? Harvard, from page 3, I guess. Let's see. Yep, from the page 3. It's supposed to stop here, but it continued the execution. Now let's check the console output, and we should find the person's name here. Yep, we got that. Now in the page or the table, the one after that, after Harvard, is Jackson. Now in the console you don't see Jackson, right? Why is that? So because you are returning false, it's going to break this loop, right? But it's not going to break the parent each loop. So it'll stop here from Harvard, but it will go to the next page and start reading data from this TD. Now we got Jennifer after that. Cool. Okay, now how do we stop when we found the name? Okay, now let's try to work that out. Right now we don't have a recursive function because we are calling each. That's the way we are looping. But if we are using recursives, we should call, the same method should be calling itself. So let's do that. Okay, now where do we start? Let's actually comment these lines out. Since we got the index of the page, we can do cy get and pages. We have to add at eq, and I'm going to pass the index and click on the page. This way I have navigated to the page. Now we should be able to find whatever thing we are looking for, like we did before. So let's copy this one right here and uncomment. Okay, now let's go through this function step by step. Now right now I'm in the find in page function because I'm calling it right here. The index is 0. I'm going to get all the pages in the pagination 1 to 6, and I'm going to click on index 0. When the index is 0, it's going to click on this first page button. Now I'm reading all the data in the table, right? But I'm not going to find the name in the first page. So if that's the case, I need to continue to the next page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bracket, and let's move this into the bracket, and let's go all the way to the top and create a variable called const, actually not const, let's call it found, then assign it false, and let's do found to true if the name we expected is the name in the element. So that's done. Now all we have to do is, depending on that condition, call find in page itself. So let's do if found is false, I'm going to call myself, which is the find in page function. This time we need to add 1 to the index, so let's do index ++ and call the function. But I don't know if you have noticed, there is an issue here actually. If I do this is going to be executed first, right? Because in the previous video I clearly mentioned if something is not within the Cypress command, it's going to be executed first, because these commands are enqueued. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a then command, and let's call it like this, and paste it here. So we got this condition after each command. Okay, now there is an issue. If whatever the thing is not found in the 6th page, right now let's say we are in the 6th page, it's going to add 1, so that will make it 7. Now it's going to call itself. Now the index is 7, but there is no element with that index, so there's going to be an issue. So I have to resolve that. The way I'm going to resolve that is I'm going to put a if condition. So cy get, let's go get pages, then actually I'm going to have to get the length, so get its length. Then let's do the if condition here. If let's do len is greater than or equal to index, I'm going to break index. I'm going to break, so let's return. Otherwise all we have to do is this is stuff, right? Let me format that again. So when we are in this function, it's going to set found false. I'm going to get all the pages, all 6 pages right here, and I'm going to do the condition because I don't want to break this test. So I'm doing if length is greater than or equal to index. Actually it should be other way around, right? Index is greater than or equal to len. I should break it, so I'm returning it, so it will not continue. If not, let's say index is 2, this is going to be it's not going to break, so it will continue to the next step, which is clicking on the element. So it will click on number 3, button number 3, and it will get all the details from the table, and it will check if that name is found in the page. If that's the case, it's going to return false, so it will break this each loop and it will continue to the next then. Now if found is false, that means we did not find the name in the table. In that case, we'll have to call find in page, or the function itself, but adding a 1 to the index. If not, that means we found the name in the DOM. So I think this is going to be it. So let's save this one and let's see the execution. Did I pass the name? Yep. Okay, now we should be in the 3rd page. Cool. And it printed Harvard and it did not continue after that. So let's do another name just to be sure. Right now I'm in the 5th page and I'm going to copy this one and let's change. Alright, right now we are in the 5th page and it stopped after finding the name in the table. So that's the way we are breaking the loop in Cypress. So I know this is a bit hard to understand, especially if you're not familiar with async recursions, it's really hard to understand. But watch this video multiple times, try to get the idea. And as I said, you'll find the link in the description to the code. Go through the code, run it, and see. Eventually you will understand how this works. And obviously it's not as easy as using Selenium or some other frameworks. I think this is it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.